Good afternoon, Professor.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for agreeing to talk to me. I know you are extremely busy.
No problem. I have time.
I saw an interview of yours where you were suggesting some different ideas, and that sort of aroused my curiosity. You've been an infectious disease expert. How are you seeing this from Sweden and from Europe?
This is a disease that's spreading across the globe like a wildfire, and almost everyone in the world will be infected. But it's a very mild disease. 99% of the people who are infected will have very little symptoms or no symptoms at all. So what we're seeing now is 1% of the epidemic. The real epidemic is going on. We don't notice it really.
And now that we're in a lockdown, how do you transition out of the lockdown? What is the best strategy to come out of a lockdown? Because now it's a psychological reality, the lockdown, and an actual reality. So how do you come out of that? What is the gentlest way, the smartest way from a healthcare perspective to come out of that?
And that's a very good question. And I've been asking myself, all the countries in Europe that instituted a lockdown a month ago, 2 months ago, did they ever think about the exit strategy at that time? I don't think any single country said, we'll do this lockdown, we close the schools, we close the borders, we close the restaurants. I don't think at that point they thought about how do you get out of it?
Yeah.
And now everyone is asking the same question, how do we get out of this? It has to be stepwise, I think, that you take, of the restrictions you have in India, you take one away, you soften one restriction, you wait 2-3 weeks and see what happens. Do we have more spread of the disease? Yes, we had more spread. Okay, then we take one step back, reinstitute and try another restriction if that works. So I think it will take months to really ease out of all the lockdown, but you must do it one restriction at a time and see what happens.
And what is the role of testing in all this? How should one think about and use testing?
One is clinical. Of course, in the hospital, you want to know if a patient has the infection or not, of course. But then you can follow the epidemic a bit more across the country, see if there are special geography or special people that have it. So that's for planning a little. Then we have the new tests that you're aware of. We have the old test, the PCR test, which shows that you're infected right now, that you have the disease right now. And then there's a new serology test that show if you had the disease. And that will be useful also to see who had the disease and who is now immune, probably.
And of course, the real impact and the balance here is one between economic damage and the healthcare damage. So
yes.
How do you think about those two aspects of this?
I think the way we have done it in Sweden is what we said. The main thing is to protect the old and the frail. They should be protected from the disease. Everything else comes second. So what we have done, we haven't completely shut down the country. Many workplaces are still open. Many people are working from home if they can. We don't have restrictions. You can go outside and meet other people outside better than in your home. Well, that's part of the answer anyway. But at some point, and I think for India, I don't know India. I've been in Delhi once at your communicable disease center in Delhi, but it's many years ago. I think you will soon create more harm than good with a severe lockdown. That's my guess.
And that's from an economic perspective.
Economic and humanitarian, yes.
And of course, there is a connection between the economic side and the healthcare side, because while you're doing this lockdown, you've got sort of your hospitals sort of under COVID watch, so to speak. In India, they've sort of decided that they're going to maintain some space in those hospitals just for COVID. So a lot of patients who have other diseases can't actually access those hospitals.
I think for India, you'd ruin your economy very quickly if you had a severe lockdown. I think it's better skip the lockdown, take care of the old and the frail people, and let the other people have the infection, most people will not even be sick. They will not even notice they have it. It's a mild disease. How are you talking about this balance between disease and economy?
I think the full lockdown is damaging,
Mm-hmm.
and the damage increases exponentially. So the sooner you get out of the lockdown, the better it is.
I mean, you may even create more deaths by a severe lockdown than the disease will do.
Exactly. The issue in India, of course, is that we have a central government and then we have large number of state governments.
Yeah.
And there is a tension between these two. The central government has one view, the state governments have another view. So a lot of that slows down the sort of the discussion. The big issue in India so far has been the migrant labor. The fact that we have large numbers of people living in slums who happen to be migrant laborers. And when they've done the shutdown, they actually can't go back to their homes in the rural area. So that has created a lot of concern. Food is going to become a serious problem because we have a lot of manual laborers who depend on daily wages, and they're already in trouble because they simply are not getting those wages. And so provision of food for them at scale is a challenge that the Indian government and state governments are facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think for you, in the situation that India is and with the federal states and everything, I think you should have a very soft lockdown, as soft as possible.
Well, anyway, I don't want to keep you. This was useful for me.
Can I take a picture of you on my computer?
Of course, you can take a picture of me on your computer. When are you coming to see us?
When do you want me?
Whenever you want. You said you only come once?
I only came once, and that's 20 years ago now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.